call me Gangster Freddy.
Say, get high up, get a high in there, Jimmy.
Get a hot one in there.
Oh.
I'm switching it up on y'all. What's up?
What's cracking?
Oh my God. There was a lot of off-camera stuff that just went down that you will never ever see, ever never.
Ever never.
Just
Don't
put a chicken and a human together. This doesn't work.
That's not a good look.
Not a good.
Not a good look. You end up with a thigh neck.
Thigh neck. That was the craziest shit I ever heard in my life.
All next matter, man. All next matter.
If you've been catfish and you end up with a thigh neck, please come to the show. I want to hear all about it.
We need to know what's going on.
I need to know what a thigh neck is. I want to see it.
You may get one of them.
Look at some of them football players. They got some thigh necks, bro.
That's like a mutated cankle.
Cankles, man, are nasty.
I am definitely going to use the thigh neck. I'm going to definitely use that today. I don't know when, but I'm going to use it
Just
tonight.
today, you run out of time.
Yeah.
Today.
No, I got enough time. 12 o'clock.
No.
Hey,
7:50.
speaking of sports, one of our topics was, do you think that performance-enhancing drugs should be okay in sports because of what people expect from these athletes?
Right.
You know, it's like you paying $60, $70 for a ticket. You're not trying to see no mediocre stuff. You're trying to see something spectacular. But
You want to see a performance.
yeah. So I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm not. No, I don't like that either.
Because to me, like if you're a phenom, then you're a phenom.
Right.
I'm coming to see because you're unique in what you can do. You can do
So
stuff
you
that
want them to use the...
no,
No,
he don't.
no, I don't want
the,
that.
the exception.
You want the regular person to feel that you're a regular person coming to see a regular person, but just have skills beyond...
Right.
Right.
Have the
That's
same-
what
spectrum.
supposedly got you there is that
Right.
because if it's like a superhero. So if everybody can take a drug and everybody be a superhero, what's special about it?
Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about it.
So I'm not really on the drug sports thing, so I don't know. But I hear a lot of players say, "Oh, my doctor prescribed that to me because he was helping me get. It was supposed to help me get healed and or something like that." Is that true?
That is true. There's certain injuries you can have where they're like, we're gonna have to put you on a steroid for a while.
So why do they get fined for it if they know?
the doctor
The
did it.
doctor.
I think there's
ban list or not.
I think there's a difference between like taking something for rehabilitation,
Right.
and then being on it because if you're in rehab, you're not participating. So eventually, that stuff's gonna be out of your system after you get back in. And then it's acceptable. But if you're taking the stuff,
They taking it beyond.
after you supposedly healed, then that ain't that. And why is one person getting an unfair advantage? Because if I'm a second string guy and I'm only making 500,000 and you making 600 million, I'm not gonna be able to do the same things that you do. I'm not gonna be able to go to the hyperbaric chamber and all that kind of stuff. I'm probably not gonna be able to do that in the off season. Sure, while the season's going, I might have access to that. But you're not gonna have. So if you got this witch doctor that can make you these performance-enhancing drugs, I'm never gonna catch up to you.
Right.
But to me, I would rather go see a regular guy that's got these exceptional skills that separates him from everybody else. Because if everybody can take drugs, then everybody can be the same.
Man, go ahead and Barry Bonds it.
Yeah.
Is marijuana illegal in all the sports?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't
I think they should go ahead and let them do that, bro.
It's
smoke. A lot
But
of
not before a game.
it's different. It's
But not before a
different.
game.
baseball.
Because hold on. Okay, so here's the apple and orange conversation, right? So what you have is you have all these opioid type drugs, narcotic type drugs. So they will get you back on the field bigger, faster, and stronger. But what you have to realize is the damage that they're doing to your body long term. And so on the other side, the marijuana, it's
Mary Jane.
yeah. And so it's supposed to be a natural healer
It's from the earth.
And it's supposed to. It's
so it's opioids.
yeah. Every drug starts from a plant.
Ain't
That's
coming
fact.
Nah,
back.
not all of them.
Yeah, I mean, some of them might be
some
grown in
synthetics.
some of them might be grown in the lab.
So what about
but,
meth?
but the
Meth
basic
don't come from no
don't come in no
hey,
plant.
it has plant attributes in it.
You will be like a freak.
My God, hey, it does.
Plant attributes. You just became a meth guy.
No. Hey, what?
Once
some-
again, the rich comments are his and his alone.
No.
Hey, when
Plant
they
attributes.
But to hit on what he said, it's, I think the say MLB, NFL, all those different, organizations, they do have to take into consideration that they cannot say, yes, it's okay to take these drugs, because then the players, there are some major health issues with steroids and performance enhancing drugs down the road. I mean, you'll feel fantastic initially, but if you take them for long periods of time, as these athletes would be doing, because they're going to be taking it not during just the regular season, but during the off season while they're developing their muscles.
They have
And
to.
it's going to jack them up.
and that's where the addiction comes from also. But another point is, okay, so first to answer the question, I say no. We all have children, right? So if any one of our children are fortunate enough to make it to that level, then I wouldn't want to see any of our children, okay, I'm going to take this drug and it's going to make me bigger, faster, stronger. Just whatever your natural ability is, go with it. That's how I feel. But so my original point was, so if you look at the sports, right? So you got basketball, you got baseball, you got hockey, you have football, you have so you got all those, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Only those two of those sports really enforce take this. You know what I mean?
Don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
I
So,
don't
and then-
believe that.
You don't think you think
Track.
I mean, track is a major
Soccer.
sport, but it's not a major
Somebody
sport.
watching
Soccer.
the track.
I mean,
Except the Olympics. Except
I mean,
Olympics.
as far as
There is a huge following
I-
of track and track clubs, and
Yes.
because that's how they get to the Olympics. There's games all through the summer for them people to qualify for the Olympics, and they train hard.
so
That's why people are trying to
We don't
go
see
and
that.
go and be on Usain
No, you
Bolt's
just don't-
team,
right.
You
and
just
all that
don't
kind of stuff.
hear it
You
like
don't.
do
You don't.
football.
It's
But-
probably not on ESPN
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
It's probably on
It-
ESPN
you
two.
just don't hear
around
it.
that time of year it
I ain't
is.
trying to
But
say that.
what we're talking about, if you
And
if,
I'm telling you
If you ain't
that
in the
that
Olympics.
is pushed on every athlete.
if you name the top 5 sports, track is not gonna be in there.
I ain't talking about it. Ain't got nothing to do with the top 5. It's sports across the board.
Yeah.
That everybody's. If you want to get to the next level where you're going to be competing and making money at it, they are going to push you and say, "Hey,
I know it's big. I mean, he probably right, because I know drugs is big when the Olympics come out.
oh yeah,
Somebody's always
yeah.
getting caught.
oh yeah."
Russia.
What's up, Putin? Tell Trump I said hi.
They all had the cold. It's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
China,
China too.
all their gymnasts got in trouble for it.
Oh yeah.
Was it China too that did it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Trying to
Yep.
get them herbs.
Wait, didn't
They
a
did.
couple of our athletes from America? I'm
what-
pretty sure a couple of ours
Who
did.
was it that got her medals pulled?
Jackie
Marion
Joyner?
Johnson.
No,
Marion,
not Joyner, not
Marion, the
Jackie
girl,
Joyner, no.
Marion, the
Yeah.
Marion.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Or,
One
Nah.
of our girls.
That was
one of our
Marion.
teams got
That was the
pulled.
Marion. It
Yeah.
was a track. It was,
She got her medals pulled
Yeah.
because
Who
was
she
that?
was.
she had to go to court and everything.
Who?
She had.
Marion, somebody.
I can't remember her name.
Man, Google it. Siri.
Hold
Not
on,
yet.
Siri.
Siri.
What
No,
did
for
what's
real.
her name get her medals pulled for? It was not. It was either Joyner or the other one.
That's what we talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so we're because even America did it, but I mean there's a pressure. Because in the Olympics, the pressure is probably crazier because you're not representing your team. You're not just doing it for yourself.
Representing your
You're representing
country.
your whole country. I mean that's insane.
Marion.
And you're expected. To
Look at Mr. One Ball on the
think-
bicycle. He got his stuff taken away
Marion
too.
Jones.
John.
Yeah.
I think he needs
Marion
to.
Jones.
Wait, come on, Lance Armstrong.
But Usain Bolt got his.
I think got his
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
He got his stuff
I think we
taken.
need to test Usain Bolt Before, in the middle, and after.
Hey,
That
bro.
motherfucker too fast.
He got
he got beat though.
Who he get beat by?
He got beat by
Oh,
one of
he-
his teammates.
He does.
Okay.
He
The
got beat
guy
by
with the
his teammates.
braids.
Yeah.
He got
That's
beat
the
by one of
only.
his
But
teammates.
that's
can't
the
think of his
only
name.
He
person.
test Michael Phelps.
But
Michael
he-
Phelps too, bro.
he-
That
Michael
motherfucker
Phelps.
swimming his ass off.
No, that guy's just a fish. That guy's a fish.
He got
He got
his
feet
filled
like
too.
this long.
But look,
He got
bro, his
human fingers.
arms come all the way down to his damn ankles.
He's got no legs either.
That boy-
he's
Hey, that boy
streamlined.
bad.
He got a thigh
in the
feet.
water.
He got thigh feet.
That boy bad in the
Yeah.
water.
He's got
Yeah.
frog legs,
But
man.
Usain he got some of his medals pulled too. It wasn't necessarily for him because one of his teammates. So he got,
Oh,
I think,
did
if
he?
I'm not mistaken, he got 3 medals pulled.
You talking about relay medals?
Yes.
That don't
Yeah,
count.
that would make
That don't
sense.
count.
It's
That don't
part
count.
of it.
If he didn't get his medal pulled,
Yes, he did.
Individual.
Oh,
it's not an individual. That's not an individual.
The team got
The team got his medal pulled
but
because
he's
somebody
the-
else popped
but
up,
he's- but
came up
he's
hot.
But
yeah,
it wasn't on the
but-
cause of him.
But he's
Still.
the major draw.
He still got a trophy. Took
So
it.
they're not
did.
talking
He
about
got took,
they're
but
not
it wasn't.
talking about me, Tyrone, and Joe. They're talking about Usain.
So you telling me
No, but
when
it's
he
a
got his
team.
medal pulled, when that dude got his medal pulled, they didn't take it from the other people.
All 4 of them.
they
All
did.
four of them.
So he got his medal pulled.
Yeah.
But it wasn't because of
It
him.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
It was
one
because of
team.
somebody else.
How we know? He
Because
could have
they told
told
him.
he
They
could
said
have.
it.
Usain could have told him, "Hey,
No,
take
they
this drug
said
to
it.
make you faster."
You
We don't know that.
You need to take
don't
that
know
up
that.
with me.
You reaching.
He messed around and might have did it. We don't know that.
You reaching now.
Hey, you need to take this to make you faster, like
You-
me.
You writing conspiracy theories.
My
on
thing is
that,
this.
man.
So y'all saying this. So if you take a performance enhancement drug, that you don't necessarily qualify the same as the guy that did not take the performance enhancing drug,
Well,
and his talent.
You're not
speaks for
as
itself.
good.
I like what
You're not
Brian
as
said.
good.
If I'm on the bench and I'm making 500 grand, and you starting, and you making millions, and you taking that drug, man, that's pissing me off on the bench.
Right.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
Because I could be in there.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so
it's,
you don't-
it's a superhero theory.
So you don't think that a
But it's
person
only-
taking performance enhancing drugs still has to have the talent
Yeah.
to
No.
go along with
Oh, I
taking the
think you do.
performance
I
enhancing
don't
drug?
think you do.
Why?
I don't think you
so
do.
you think that an average person?
So if me and
taking
you are
perform-
if me and you are bodybuilders
Right.
and you go all natural.
That's different. That's all strength, though. I'm talking like a sport, like because bodybuilders are like
Okay, if you play the sport, you got some type of skill. If you
Yeah.
made it to that level,
Yeah.
you got some type of skill
So-
anyway.
so-
So that's a moot point.
Well,
Right.
okay, if you're
That's a
just
moot
bodybuilding,
point.
Okay.
You talking a starter versus somebody who's on the bench.
baseball.
Baseball.
Let's talk baseball.
What player?
Barry
Was he
Bonds.
good when
Me-
he was he
me-
good when
me
he
and
straight
Brian.
was
Me
he
and
good when
Brian.
he straight came out of
I'm
college?
taking performance enhancing drugs and I'm hitting home runs out the park.
Right.
Like motherfucker, what's his name? The dude from the Cardinals, McGuire.
Big
McGuire.
Mac. Big Mac.
Mark
McGuire.
Did this just
And
happen?
then you come in and you're taking just all natural. You're just natural talent, but you're getting there, but you're not there in the numbers wise.
Right.
yeah,
I'm
you're coming just
I got
short.
I got
Right.
You
I got
short
I got
of the
warning track power.
target.
I
You're
got
not
warning
breaking no
track power.
records. You ain't breaking no records.
I got warning track power.
I'm mad.
Hey, I'm mad. And I
But
know
you
you.
don't think that
I'm
maybe my talent, I have talent for doing that? And
No.
But you cheated.
So this is
Because
what
I took the
this
performance enhancing drug.
yeah, exactly. This is what I say.
That ain't necessarily that. But every drug is totally different.
Bro, you cannot.
Just because they give me blood pressure medicine doesn't mean that they give him the
That's
same
not
blood
that's not
pressure
performance
medicine because
enhancing.
it's-
That's not performance enhancing.
Yeah, but
They
every
talk- he-
performance enhancing
wait,
drug
wait,
is
what
not
you
going
talking
to
about?
the same.
What you talking
Brian
about is like we're on the drag strip. I'm gonna break this down. We're on the drag strip.
Yeah,
We both driving the exact same vehicle,
right.
But you
but
got,
you got
Nas.
nitrous. So we take off, and you hit your NOS. I'm thinking you the same as me, and then you smoke me.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's not.
It's the
that's
same.
different.
to go
How's
back
that
to the
different?
baseball analogy, I mean, if you can swing harder, you still got to know how to swing.
Yeah, you gotta be at the
Bruh,
target.
No,
Yes,
They both made it to the major
Bro,
leagues, bro.
so
That's what I'm
They
saying.
both made it to the
They're
major
both-
leagues,
Okay,
bro.
they're
they
both
both
major
made it to
leagues.
the major leagues,
And
but
it-
one is
but it
better than the
depends.
other as far as hitting. One might be better on fielding.
You
One might
don't
be
know
better
that.
on
Okay,
How do you
catcher.
know if they? How do you know if they both?
Okay,
if
so
one taking
I'm
drugs and one
better.
not?
If he better, why does he gotta take the performance drug?
Exactly.
Because he needs
If
to
he's
be,
better.
he needs to be that next
He
level.
needs to
No.
be. He needs to be consistent on the more.
Oh, man,
on
God.
more he's
No.
hitting.
No,
Look,
bro.
out the park.
Tyrone, let me look. This is
You
what.
still have to have the skill, bro. I can't go in there taking performance
But wait a
enhancing
minute,
drugs
wait a minute.
and
You-
go on
you
the
already-
baseball field
you telling
professionally
me-
and hit
You telling me that if they both made the team, that one is that much better than the other?
Yeah, but everybody that makes a
it can
team
happen
has
that
different
way.
jobs on the baseball field.
We're talking about batting. Because
Yeah,
everybody's got to
same
hit the
thing.
ball. Everybody's got to hit the ball, right?
You have to hit the ball, but some use for bunting, some
Hold
use
on.
for
We talking
some
about-
use for
you changed the
infield,
narrative now.
Some use for
changed
home
the
runs,
narrative.
cleanup.
We're talking about, okay.
I'm
we
just
both,
saying.
Hold on. We both make the team,
Right.
right? You on the team, you starting.
We
you
make
hit-
the team
Hold
for
on,
different
hold
reasons.
on, hold on. No.
Yeah.
Listen to me. We both make the team, right? And we're talking about batting.
Mm-hmm.
They bring me in as a pinch runner, but I'm hitting the ball, but I'm only hitting the ball to the warning track. You are taking in performance enhancing drugs and you cranking them out. If you get off those drugs, are you still gonna have the same thing?
Yes.
No.
No.
McGuire
No.
was hitting the ball.
No.
Before he was taking
He
the
was not breaking
yes,
records.
he wasn't breaking records, but he was still
Right.
hitting home runs.
was breaking
He was
records.
hitting home runs like crazy.
So was everybody else.
He was hitting home runs like crazy,
See,
bro.
so
he wasn't,
Nobody was hitting home runs before he started taking the performance-enhancing drugs. Right. And then when he started taking the performance-enhancing drugs, he started
He
breaking
about gave you a
records.
thigh neck.
You cheating,
My fault,
man.
bro.
That's cheating.
That's cheating, bro.
That's cheating, man.
You still have to have the
wait.
skill, bro.
Time
I
out.
swear.
You right. You are right.
You just can't come in there and
But okay, I'm
jack him over the fence.
Wait, I'm breaking.
Jack 'em over.
I'm gonna break it down for you. Okay, McGuire, and I don't know these exact numbers, so don't quote me. Just say McGuire was averaging 30 home runs a year, right? That was about the norm.
That's low.
Wait,
That's low.
no. That was
Yes,
the
it is.
norm. That was about
Okay.
the norm.
This is average.
And then in about 3 seasons, he started averaging 50.
And he gained
Then
50 pounds.
60.
Gained 50 pounds of
Then-
muscle.
Then
Yeah.
then he hit
In a season.
77. Oh, that's natural.
That's totally different than where I'm coming from.
that's
Because
the
I'm
hope.
talking about.
I know, that's the hope.
You can't come in there. You can't come in there. Nobody else can come
Hold
in
on.
there. We'll just say
Wait.
a person that's not a person that is
What
not
about the
known
guy-
for
what
hitting
about
home runs in the league.
What about the guy that
Who
hit
is that? Cal Ripken.
What
He's
about the
not
guy that
known
hit-
for hitting home runs. He's a pitcher. He's not known for hitting home runs.
He wasn't a
can
pitcher,
pitch his
though.
ass. He's a first baseman.
But what about
I'm sorry,
what
first
about the-
baseman. Hell of a first baseman, but never known for batting.
Right.
Never
I
known
love
for
how
home
you
runs.
like
no,
baseball.
nah,
You like
hold
But
on.
I'm
What about-
saying though, he ain't coming out there hitting home 30, 40, 50 home runs.
what about this, Ty? What about if Big Mac's hitting 30 and everybody else in the league is hitting 26 on average?
Well, that could be talent.
So you could
So the
arguably
gap is-
hold on,
the gap
hold
is
on.
here.
You could arguably say
the margin of
You
the
could arguably
home
say
run to not
that their skill level is
close.
pretty close.
right.
So now this dude starts taking drugs, and he goes to here. These guys the next year hit 28. How is that not cheating?
Oh, it's still cheating.
I don't-
Oh, it's still cheating. But
listen,
I see what he's
I'm
saying.
not saying it's not cheating.
That's what you said.
But I'm
No.
saying that
Rewind. He said
No.
you're not cheating.
I want him.
All right, go ahead.
Go
ahead, clarify yourself.
Listen,
Go ahead.
it's cheating. But you still have to have the skill level to cheat.
We're not disagreeing.
I know what you're saying, but
We're not disagreeing. That's what I'm saying.
it-
The guy that's hitting 30 and the guy that's hitting 26. It's not right that you're gonna come in and say, well, I'm gonna take these drugs to make me hit 77, and this other guy hit the next year hits 28 because he knows that guy's about to catch him.
Okay, so if you're both taking the same performance enhancing drug,
Right. Then
I come out
everybody
hitting
gonna be
100 and you come out hitting 50. What is that?
That's different.
Okay.
That's your skill level.
I get what you're saying.
I got skill on the home run, bro. I know how to hit these motherfuckers out the park.
But the thing about it is,
I know this.
But the
My
thing about
skill.
it is,
gotta have
yeah,
skill.
what I'm telling you is, if a guy's hitting 28 and another guy's hitting 30, and they both take the same drugs, it ain't gonna be no 50.
You
it
ain't
ain't
switching
it ain't
the
gonna-
drug.
It ain't gonna be no.
It's not right.
It will not be no 50 gap. It's gonna be more like I'm hitting 115 and now you hitting 110. I
Look.
guarantee you.
Look. Let me.
It can go either way.
Look, I'm gonna end it like this.
No, you're gonna end it.
Baseball. Look, baseball is.
Thigh neck ass.
You right. Baseball is different anyway. Because if you average,
Okay,
if you
let's
wait,
talk about
if,
football.
wait, listen,
Football. Yeah, football.
If you hit
Football,
40, if you hit 40%, you considered a great. That is
That's true.
F.
Listen, forget baseball. Let's go football.
He said that's an F.
We go football. But we can go football.
What was that?
When have you ever heard of anybody hitting 60% in baseball? Never. When have you ever heard of anybody?
You know why? You know why that is?
I mean, it's one of the hardest.
Hard to hit a 90-mile-an-hour ball.
It is. But what I'm
boy said
saying
that's
is,
a
if you hitting 40%, I mean, I ain't saying, I'm not saying I can get out there and do any. I don't have any of those skills.
Yeah.
But
Give you some drugs.
but if you average 40% for your career, that's considered great.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But in football, you take football.
Well, that's the thing with football, though.
Because
In football, it would. I can see the swinging analogy working, but in football, like if you're a lineman and you're just straight up taking steroids, that's not all skill.
Hey, wait.
That's a lot.
What's the old school movie with
Adam Sandler?
The longest run.
no,
The longest.
with the college kids?
Oh wow! Remember the
Blue
Titans?
Valley?
No.
that's
The Notre
the
Dame movie?
Nah, what the dude was
Valley.
laying in the street. They
Varsity
had to
Blues?
take.
When he shot him in the head?
They was laying in the
Willie
street.
Beeman?
Nah, man. Yeah.
Talking about Varsity
What you
Blues
talking about?
or what?
Man, y'all so
You
far
don't even
off.
know what you talking about.
That's them drugs.
Omar Epps was in it.
Yeah, you talking about
Higher learning?
no, not higher learning.
Omar Epps wasn't in Higher Learning.
Yes,
it was.
Yeah,
when he had to hold the football.
Yeah, we had to hold the football.
What's the name of that
And
joint?
he was laying in the street.
I gotta
They
look.
had to cut that out of the movie because dumbass kids were doing it.
Yeah.
And getting ran over.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You seen that movie
Kids do
before? I
stupid
can't think of that. He went to USC in the movie. And the one kid was doing okay. Then he came in one day and he was just like a beast. And then the coach called him in the office after the game and just looked at him. And he just put his head down. And he was like, because he knew he cut. He knew he was cut. The program.
Yeah.
Because he knew
I seen that.
he's like you taking drugs. I gotta cut you.
I thought he was looking at his eyes.
Yeah, because he
But look, remember
he's like, bro, you didn't have a thigh neck last year. What happened?
look. So do you consider LT cheating? A cheater?
Yeah.
He was just on cocaine.
So was Dale Strawberry.
So was a cocaine cowboy. I mean,
Dale Strawberry used to say he used to go in the on halftime or whatever it was, go in there and do a couple lines and come back out and hit a couple home runs.
because they
That was the norm.
Right.
He said that was the norm back
They
then.
were taking stimulants and it was numbing them, so
Right.
they didn't feel nothing.
But they weren't taking the baby fetus. They weren't taking the baby fetus and taking whatever.
Baby fetus.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You
On another level.
you never heard of that?
It's
You
my-
never heard?
Views
Say
expressed
Louis.
by
No,
Bruce
no,
and his alone.
Are you watching
Look.
InfoWars?
No, Barry Bonds, Barry Bonds, Manny
you talking-
Ramirez.
Are you talking about stem cells?
Yeah, there you go.
Baby
not
fetus.
baby fetuses.
No, it's what is it?
Stem
Placenta.
cells. Stem
You can get
cells.
stem cells from an adult.
No,
Stem
Manny.
cells.
Look, you can Google this. Manny
Oh,
Ramirez.
here we go with the goddamn Google.
No, this was reported. Manny
It's
Ramirez.
stem cells, bro. I know what you're
He
talking
took
about.
the baby
Manny.
fetus and they took whatever out of
The
it. They
fetus?
took the needle. They took
Of
the
the real
needle
baby.
because the fetus. The afterbirth. What's the afterbirth?
That's the
called?
placenta.
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 Oh,
I'm taking babies and bopping them over the head and taking
You are talking about totally
Yeah,
different thing.
my bad.
Oh my God.
So, yeah,
Murder
the
was the
placenta.
case that they gave him.
They
okay.
They
I
take the
know.
placenta.
The placenta.
They take the syringe, take it out, and inject it in your body.
You know,
They
you
do
can eat
that.
that.
They still do that.
They still do that
I've heard of people eating that crap.
They do that.
Hey.
That's
Hey.
the
with fava
Weird.
beans.
With what?
With fava beans.
Fava beans. I had you side of fava beans.
Hey, I got that.
Reset. They took the fetus.
Hey,
fetus.
Injecting fetuses. Whoa.
That's why I kept saying placenta.
That was
Same,
weird.
same thing.
No,
Hey,
no,
it's the baby little brother.
no, brother.
Right out.
That ain't that.
All right, we've been on this subject for a while.
That's
We need to
because
move. home.
That's because it's crazy.
It is
Yeah.
crazy. It's a tough subject. A lot of people are on both sides. They're
I
on
think
all-
I think it's a superhero thing though. But if everybody
Yeah.
take drugs, know who's why are you special?
yeah.
You know, if I can go take a couple pills and run as fast as Usain Bolt, I'm going to the Olympics tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I mean, seriously though.
Y'all boy, Maurice Green.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Maurice Green.
I've had to have like surgeries and stuff like that, and they put you on these steroids, and it's amazing how
Good
fast you can
drugs
put
there.
on muscle. Like I had to take an oral steroid for a while. It was last year. I think I was talking to you about it, and I didn't even think about it. And I go to the gym every day at lunch, and then within a week, I was just like, the heck is.
Guess that's better.
Like
than
I didn't
taking
put that much
some
work in.
You
It
got
was
some more?
no, dude. I used all that. Joe's like, yeah.
Say you wanted more.
I'm in the gym.
I need a refill, doctor.
Don't eat those brownies.
I know.
But no.
So the other thing that is new and is a hot topic: tablets or textbooks in schools.
Yeah.
Now, I understand
Tablet.
that technology is moving forward. They can do a lot more things with the tablets, but I kind of feel like it makes the teacher a little more hands off, because I think you can have more kids fall through the cracks that way,
Sound like that's what they're going.
because it's going that way
Yeah.
for sure.
Because that's all they have now.
But you know, I feel like if you don't have that connection where a teacher's like going and seeing that the students is not doing as good as they should be doing, you're gonna miss that, because you're just like, okay, your curriculum's on your whatever for the week is on the tablet, you turn it in on the tablet. I mean, there's been a couple issues where you're like, oh, I turned in my homework, well, I ain't see it.
Right.
Well, I turned it in, and what about kids that don't have internet at home? And I mean, there's a lot of drawbacks. I see that.
It's a gift and a curse.
Yeah,
it
I
seems.
think for the most part, all that is the transition pain. Like when you first initially introduce it, one, the technology isn't perfected yet, and people don't have all the right procedures perfected yet. Because I know the biggest thing I know that you mentioned has been an issue with students, and I've heard it from lots of parents about this, is we don't actually have internet at home because we live way out in the sticks. We can't get it. We're not paying $120 for whatever this dish on top of our TV or whatever it is. I don't know. And so they have to drive their kid into town somewhere.
Or they just can't afford it.
Right.
Yeah, or they just can't afford it or whatever. So that's a bit of an issue. But I mean,
Here, I'll throw
getting
another.
easier
I'll
and
throw,
easier to
I'll throw
access.
another wrench in your tablet thing. There is a school in Missouri. I'm gonna let you guys stay anonymous.
MO.
That had rampant kids watching porn in school. Kids taking pictures of each other nude and passing them around the school, and I mean it was so bad that they had to pull all the tablets
See, that's
and try to figure out, because the provider they went with didn't have a monitoring system.
it didn't have a nanny app.
They didn't have a monitoring. It
That's
didn't have a monitoring
crazy.
system because that was something that the school couldn't quite afford.
They say that before
So they
you
had-
get a tablet that we will be monitoring
Well,
these tablets.
most of the time,
That's because they say that doesn't mean they're
mean
actually doing it.
well,
So you got an IT department
case,
of you got an IT department of 4 people,
That's crazy.
and you got to monitor 400 tablets.
Were they
well,
watching?
usually they sell like a nanny app, which or its
What's a
own
nanny
OS.
app?
Keyword
A nanny-
sale.
Well, it would be included in the
more money.
package.
But
It
it-
would just say it'd be.
It was an epic fail.
Yeah, it was an epic fail because that's a failure, one on the supplier and the school. But yeah, a nanny app basically it blocks certain applications. You cannot download anything else, like any applications onto the tablet, and it blocks a whole host of websites. And they can tell what websites to block by their certificate.
Now, what I can tell you
But
is
they will have to keep doing that throughout the year because, man, there's a lot of websites out there.
what I can tell you. Yeah,
There's
what I can
always
tell
a
you
way
is
around
Person
is
that's
that
monitoring it.
they have a similar thing now on our school system where they have, you can't download this, you can't do that, but kids are still doing it.
Yeah, they can find a way
Play
around it.
games.
They're smart.
They can't. They
On
can't.
the
They
tablet,
can't.
you mean?
I've got.
They
yeah.
can't. They can't get a.
Like they
They
hack it
can't.
or
They can't get a D
Yeah.
in basic math, but they can hack that laptop or that
You know why?
that tablet.
Because in math they got to do the work themselves. On hacking the computer, they can just go to YouTube and figure out how to do it.
Right.
It's
And they're still
not
getting
doing
in
the
trouble
work.
for it. I mean,
So they're watching Pornhub on the tablets.
We
you
didn't
name
talk-
it.
we
You
didn't have
name
a
it.
site.
I don't. What is Pornhub? I don't know what that is.
Hey,
It's
save a
it's
tree.
a site.
Is that where they got? Is that where they got those
Is that-
dynamics?
is that on Snapchat?
Yes, there's a bunch of
Snapchat.
dynamics on there.
Save
I'm
a
not never
tree.
gonna forget
Send us
that.
some shirts.
Save a tree. Ride a horse.
I'm against the tablets.
You are?
I'm not.
Yep.
It is.
I mean, you
Considering that we grew up in an era where we had
until
textbooks.
you
Well,
get
our
that
generation.
tablet in the
Yeah.
house and see the difference. I transitioned. I seen them with books and I seen them with tablets.
Yeah.
And the personal relationship from the teachers to the students is there's a disconnect.
They're not the teachers no more. It's the
They're a
tablet's the
disconnect.
teacher.
It's a
Everything
disconnect.
is
Yeah,
on
well,
the
that's-
tablet.
I mean, that's
The bad.
that's a lazy
it's
teacher or a
different,
bad
yeah.
school system. I mean,
It's
just
one
a
thing-
but it's all school
just a
One thing I
tool,
like
though.
good about it is that they can email their teacher the homework and stuff
Right.
immediately. That's
Right.
that's the good thing about
See
it.
that
Right.
as a teacher, I would hate that because then your job never ends.
But they don't check
Yeah.
that stuff right
They have a
away.
guideline, sure.
It's like basically they got a program in there. You email it. All they do is get a notification to say that it's in or it's
Right.
not.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the amount of resources, the good resources, you could even just do a custom OS, a custom operating system, have that installed on the tablet, which only gives
But once
you,
again, that goes back into money
well, yeah, I mean it does, but I
because
mean some
they're
some
not
companies,
giving that they're not giving that stuff away.
Some companies, that's part of their sell. They say you get our tablets, we already have an OS. That's what's going to be included.
So-
because I worked with a startup that was what they were going to do, is they were going to give tablets to grade school children, and it was going to have a custom OS in it, and it was going to have reporting and testing and stuff like that. That was their sell. You wouldn't
Right.
get any other kind of operating system on it.
To me, the bad part is it's not fair all the way around, right? So you're gonna have your higher tax bracket schools.
Oh, yeah.
Your higher tax bracket schools that will have this type of these tablets, right? And then your lower tax bracket schools will still be using textbooks because they can't afford it. So it's not fair game, right? So every school, every student will not be playing on the same ball field. So what you have like we were talking about with this thing right here, that they're gonna download a system and then give it away for free. So this thing is, I'm assuming it's older. So our school system last year, they had iPads. Now they have Chromebooks or whatever. And then so these other schools, they don't have the same type of technology. They might be using a computer from 10 years ago.
That's an opinion.
No, that's not an opinion.
It is.
That is not. No,
Elias
it
can
is.
afford it, and they don't have tablets.
It
Elias
is.
do not do tablets, bro.
It is.
They do.
They still use books.
So it's an
okay?
option. It's
But
still an
yeah,
option.
it's an option. It's not.
Right.
But what the part that you're missing is that most of the lower income schools are the ones that have the tablets.
No.
Yes.
No.
Look it up.
No.
Look it up.
You go to
Most-
St. Louis.
most
you go to these
public
St. Louis
schools-
for example,
Most public schools
that
have
lost
tablets.
their accreditation.
Well, you ain't gonna get it from if you don't have an accreditation. That's a whole different topic.
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about like the private schools that are
No, accredited schools that are public schools, most of them have tablets.
Yeah, you're saying-
because iPad came out and said, "Hey, we're gonna give you these.
Well, that and it's government subsidized.
We're gonna give it to you.
Well, it's a credit.
They're gonna give it to them." And most of them have it. Most of the lower income schools.
Keyword most or some,
Bruh.
but not all.
Well, yeah,
you
if you're-
already
if
know.
All schools aren't gonna have it because all schools
We-
aren't gonna accept it.
We just got done. We just got through talking about how some schools don't have Wi-Fi.
So let me ask you this. Do you ever think all schools are on a level playing field?
No,
Do you think it ever will be?
no.
No.
So what are
Because
you
I'm
talking
talking,
about?
it's tax bracket.
It ain't tax bracket.
It is tax
because I can
bracket.
send my kid to whatever school I want to.
No, you can't.
Demographic.
Come on, can't.
No, you can't.
I can send my kid to Elias. I can send my kid to Calvary. I can send him to Jeff City.
You got
I
to
got
pay.
3 choices.
So
You just gotta
It don't matter what
So
my
you
tax
pay-
bracket is.
give him a different
It does.
address.
It
It don't matter what my tax bracket
It
is.
does. Like,
It
Mike
does.
just-
No.
it does.
It doesn't matter.
I can send my kid right now, living where I'm at, to Elias. But guess what I gotta do? I gotta pay versus
Right.
Or
Not paying.
or like Mike just said, you can lie. Okay, there was.
But it's the same thing,
No,
though.
it's not the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's
You're
not the
not
same
lying
thing.
to go to a private school because you don't need an address for a private school.
No, you don't.
No,
You need an address for a public school
so you
because of the
so,
zoning.
So you take St. Louis or Detroit, for example, right? You take those. So you know in those two cities, you're gonna have your good schools and you're gonna have your what's deemed as bad schools. You agree with that?
Sure.
That's everywhere.
So yeah, it's not everywhere because we don't have that issue here.
We got bad schools here.
Sure we do.
Okay, all right, okay.
I know
For
we
just
don't
for
drop
this
names.
for this example,
No
we're
names.
we're gonna go St. Louis,
our
Detroit, right? Good schools, bad schools, right? Or what is perceived to be a bad school, right?
Mhm.
So there's a lady who lied about her address because she didn't want her daughter going to this particular school, right? So and this school was in a higher tax bracket. She got
I
four.
never
She
heard
got
of no
4
tax,
years.
Nothing to do with no school.
What,
Or
do you,
is
what
it-
do you mean? You never.
is it
money
in a-
talks.
Is it in a different district?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's not
so
tax
that's
bracket.
not.
It is tax
No, that's
bracket.
Hold on.
not. That's a
Hold
different
on.
district.
Let-
That's zoning.
do you think schools are built based on the tax bracket?
School. I'm not saying
That is
schools.
not,
I'm not.
bro.
That
That's
is not dumb.
That's not.
Look,
Hold on.
look,
I'm
look,
trying to understand what he's saying.
I'm
Hold
not
on.
saying that.
Hold on.
Listen,
That's
listen
not.
to this. Listen. This lady sent her child. If you live in a higher tax bracket,
Maybe what you're saying is not making sense. You're
Yeah,
saying live in a
it's
higher
not
tax
tax
bracket,
bracket. Yeah.
because
Live in a higher
the
tax
tax bracket that you're in has nothing
Nothing
to do
with where you go to
with your-
school at.
That's how
So
you
you're saying
file.
It's
so
zoning.
So your district, the district that you live in,
Zone.
There you go.
or the zone that you live in,
Yeah.
is a lower income
and-
zone.
and
Yeah.
because
not
because
tax bracket though.
Tell
And
them where her
because-
taxes are going. Her taxes weren't going to that school. They're
No,
going to a different
right.
school.
her taxes were going to the lower
That's
income
not a tax
school.
bracket.
to the
yeah.
to the
Because where
different
she lived
district,
at.
to the
Okay.
different district.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're
So-
saying that she was basically stealing money from taxpayers by sending
No,
her
she-
student to a different school.
Yeah, yeah, that's-
which is
and
out of
that's-
Where,
district.
because
Yeah.
she
And
wasn't
that-
sending them
okay.
because it wasn't in her
yes,
zone.
Okay,
yeah,
you
and
were
that's
just saying
what-
it wonky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my bad.
Okay. No,
But
it's fine.
It's all good.
But it's all.
But that doesn't make it wrong, or that doesn't make it unfair, because you gotta understand something. Because if I live somewhere where the houses are 300,000 and I'm paying property tax on 300,000, and you're living somewhere where you pay 30,000, you're paying property tax on 30,000. So yes, I'm paying more taxes. So now you're gonna take your kid over and put them in the school that I'm paying taxes for. Why is that right?
So basically, what you're saying
She's
is
stealing.
no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically.
So this is what happens.
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
Basically, what you're saying is just because you're in a higher tax bracket or a district,
You're not paying taxes for
the-
that district.
So you should have a better chance of life than me because I live in poverty and
No.
you're rich.
No,
That's
not
what you
I'm
just
saying.
said.
That is not what
That's
I
what
said.
you just
That's
said.
not what I said. What I said was you are not paying taxes for that district.
So education.
Hold on, I'll
Okay.
let you finish.
Okay, go.
You're not paying taxes for that district. If that district is paying more taxes, they're gonna be able to afford more things.
Mm-hmm.
That is not the fault of anybody.
Of where you live.
That's
at.
nobody's
Hey.
fault. That's
No.
nobody's fault.
No.
If your district wants to increase their tax rate to get more resources for the schools,
But they
then they
can't
can do
if it's
that.
lower income.
They're not going to do that. So what happens? What's supposed to happen is, and who you need to be mad at is Betsy DeVos. I'll say your fucking name all day. That she's not putting the money where it needs to go.
So, right, exactly.
She's not putting the money.
we already
She's
know
not
this.
putting the money where it needs to go.
We already know this.
That's not the fault of the people living there. That's not the fault of the people that made more money or the people that made less money. It's the fault of the people who's running it in the education system. They're not putting the money where it needs to
Because,
go.
essentially,
so
like, the
that's
new
not
school- the
that's
new
not
school
their,
being
that's
built
not
now-
anybody's fault. That's
So
down
you
on this
have-
level.
You have rich, and you're gonna have lower income.
There's
to
always
make
gonna be
that
lower
school
and higher.
up.
It's always going to be lower.
Because you can't get that. You're gonna have to get that funding. You still have to get that funding for that area.
But it's not anybody's fault.
But it's nobody's fault.
It's not anybody's
So-
fault.
It's not.
So basically,
That-
what you,
that's
what-
going on now,
So,
though.
so basically,
That's why they
what
rezoned.
y'all saying
it is, Reese, they
is
cheat.
education shouldn't be a straight line for everybody.
It's never gonna be a
Education-
straight line.
Education should be here for some.
No,
and here
we're
for
not
some.
saying that.
That's
No.
basically what y'all saying.
No, it's
no,
not
we're
at all.
taking
Yes,
control.
not at all.
If you live in a $1 million neighborhood, your education, of course, is going to be better. Allegedly, yes.
Why do you think these people are in trouble right now trying to pay $500,000 to get their kids in college? Because they're idiots.
True.
So don't sit there and say because somebody.
but I
Hold on, wait.
I guarantee.
Don't say you can't guarantee nothing because you can't say that just because somebody got money they're smart.
I didn't say that's not the conversation.
That is a conversation. You said they're going to be very.
No, what I said was a better school, a better opportunity.
No.
But it doesn't. It
Disagree.
doesn't go like that. It doesn't go like that.
If you're in this tax bracket and
So
you're
let me
in
ask you,
this
it's not
tax bracket,
Hold on.
it is.
I got something for your tax. I got something for your tax bracket here.
tax bracket are we in?
Hold on.
So-
Time out. I got something for your tax bracket.
So hold on.
Zone,
Y'all telling me-
district, tax
so
brackets.
y'all telling me if you ain't in a better school, you don't get better opportunity?
Thank you. Good
What?
Lord.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you
I'm
this.
not saying that.
I'm gonna tell you
I
this.
just did.
No.
No.
I didn't
I
never
did.
say that. No, I did not say that. He's saying
A
that
better
if-
school does not
if you're
equal a
in
better opportunity
No.
automatically.
It
It does
bro.
not.
Yes,
It does not.
Where y'all?
Yes,
where
it
y'all-
does.
where y'all
Okay,
at?
let's
Because
talk
you
about-
have
let's talk about-
beautiful
let's talk
schools,
about that.
you have
Listen,
y'all show me that.
Let's talk about the new school
if
that's
your
being
teacher
built right now.
the new what?
The new school that's being built right now, they had to do rezoning twice because too much of one thing was going to the new school, and they didn't want to have that because they didn't have the funding to put these other group of people over in the same school. So they had to rezone the whole city. So you have this coming over here because we need funding, we need money, we need these people to go to this school, and we need these people over here to go to this school too, so we can still get the same funding from these other people over here.
But how
And that's
many-
why they rezoned
But
it.
how many of the lower income kids are in there?
A bunch.
A bunch because it's most of the west side.
If you show me
If
that.
you,
I
can show you on the map.
This place is not very big,
my
not that big
aunt
to
was a
where.
part of that whole rezoning thing.
And this is also
but
Jeff
like I
City.
said,
This
like
is
I
also
said,
Jeff City.
but like I said,
And this is
all
how
I'm
it
saying is,
I swear
the
to God,
only
I'm not
point
even lying to you, bro.
the only
It's
point
crazy.
that we're trying to make here is that just because you're in a different district doesn't automatically mean that your school's gonna be that much better.
And they
That doesn't mean that.
they
Got
have-
better opportunity.
No, listen.
Oh, how?
Listen, bro.
I got better opportunity.
Listen,
look.
I went to I went to
That's the
East High
city.
School, a city school. Then
Right.
went south.
city.
I had a better opportunity out there on the south than I had at East. At East, boy, they don't care if you left school. They wasn't calling your parents. They wasn't doing none of that. I went out there. You walk out the building. Oh, they calling. They call
because they need people in the seats so they can get
It
their
was a
money
better
to
opportunity.
keep their funding.
But it also was a better
And
opportunity.
some people don't care because they're going downhill.
Okay, wait, hold on.
I understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying. But
right.
the way this is structured right now, bro, they need the good just as well as they need the bad.
Right.
And it all needs to be in one
Man,
spot.
they didn't
so
care
can get
about
this
that.
money.
They didn't care about that school in the city.
That's
That's because
the
they had a
city.
low parent-teacher or a student-teacher ratio.
Yeah,
probably.
that's the city. But here, they care about
They have
that
a lower.
because
I think
All I'm saying is,
It
I'm
just
not
don't
saying
look-
that
it
it's
just
not
don't
a,
look good.
it's
then.
not
across the board.
Not
It's not
tax
across-
bracket based.
it's not
Because
across
the
the
tax
board.
bracket people that are out in the cities right now, in the counties right now, that are going to the new school are paying or paying their taxes, and these people over here are paying their taxes, and they're going to be all in the same spot.
because I don't pay
Getting
the same
education.
I don't pay the same taxes you
Not
pay.
unless you go to a
Mine's
private
higher.
school.
My taxes, I pay
Exactly.
higher taxes, and I ain't gonna have no
That's-
kids going to that school.
That's the Jeff's. Dude,
And I pay higher taxes.
That's this
I
small.
voted for it.
That's this small town.
But I'm
My example
That's how
was
it
the
is.
largest
That's
city.
everywhere.
Look, let me tell you like this.
It's all zoning,
And
bro.
I'm gonna tell you like
It's
this.
zoning.
When I was in city
It's-
schools, it was a little bit different. When
But that
when
was like
hold
20
on.
years ago.
You right, but I guarantee
Things
you,
have changed.
I guarantee you, it's damn near still on
No,
that,
that
on that
changed,
same
bro.
on that playing field.
Have you heard
but-
of magnet schools?
Yes,
Have you heard of charter
but a
schools?
magnet school is
Have you
not a
heard-
public
have you heard-
school.
have you
That
heard-
is not a public
Will
school.
you let me finish? Have you heard of charter schools?
Yes.
You know why? You know why they did that?
Yes,
To give people other opportunities.
and
Because they can choose to go to that
Where they
school.
wanna
Yes
go.
or no?
it's not a choice.
So
It's-
what charter
you
school?
have
You telling me?
It's
You
not
telling me?
a choice. You have
you
to
busted them in
test
from
into
another-
those schools.
You have to what?
You have to test into those schools.
what-
You don't think that's fair?
Anybody-
Charter school.
No,
charter
you
school
busting
is-
them in or something?
So you
No,
telling me?
it's just their.
So you telling me
A
that?
charter school is there.
My bad.
If you go in for radiology, then you're just going in and do studies for
They're
just
gonna
regular
they're gonna take you towards that.
radiology, and they're gonna get you to where you're gonna go.
Gotcha.
But this is what I asked you. You say you have to test into those schools, and you think that's unfair?
Yes.
Why? You have to test into a college. You have to test into a job. You have to test into it. You have to test to get your damn driver's license. Why shouldn't you have to test?
Because of what you just said.
Because
I can pay $500,000. I can pay $500 in line and say Tyrone, my son, is on the rowing team,
But that's
and he can get into.
you
That
went
was
to a
that
whole
scandal.
different.
That
You went to
was
a whole
that
different
scandal.
thing.
See,
It's the same
that was
thing.
illegal. They're getting
That was
penalized for
illegal.
that.
Yeah.
You can't,
So
you-
they are
So
now
wait,
it's
okay,
getting done.
so if Joe is a city school teacher making $30,000 a year.
I'm the
Brian is another city school teacher, but he makes $90,000 a year. Which education is gonna be better?
well,
The 30,000, in my
Depends on
opinion,
the teacher.
because he's doing
What?
it because he likes it. I'm doing it for the money.
That not necessarily.
well, I
Well,
Okay, so
you don't
you
know.
can argue it either way.
You
You
don't
can
know.
argue it either way.
You don't
Not
know.
necessarily.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Bad
If
teachers.
You can't not necessarily both ways.
If you're
I
making
get it.
$90,000, that means that your school more than likely is elite.
If I
When-
want my
look,
school,
hold on.
The name says something.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
That doesn't mean that the school is elite.
is elite.
I think what he's saying is the more money they have, the lower student to teacher ratio you can have, the education will be better. I
It'd
can
be
see
better.
that. I can see that.
I
But
see that. But
at the
that's
same
not-
time, when he's saying with the charter schools, the magnet school like that, if you can test into it, you're already smart.
you're already there.
You're
And
good.
already
That's
getting
so
the funding.
fair.
Are those public
that's
schools?
what it-
Oh,
basically what
Are those public schools you tested into?
So
No.
basically what
Because
you're
it's getting paid. I mean, you're already getting. It's free, pretty much.
Well,
What you
so
say,
you're
Reese?
coming from
Go ahead,
somewhere-
Reese.
If you have a lower income area
supposed
and
to go
those
to
parents
school.
can't
They
afford
want
to
your ass to
send
go
their
to school.
student somewhere else, they
You
can't
need
afford
bodies
to
and
live
seats to get
somewhere where their
funding.
student gets sent to somewhere else.
Go ahead, Reese. What's your point?
So what you're saying is, okay, I can't test. I'm not whatever you consider smart enough, a test taker, right? So when we go to these charter and magnet schools, you test in, but I'm not a test taker. I'm smart, but I'm not a test taker, right?
But-
so I don't test into this school. So I have to hold on.
You don't test into the school, bro.
Hey, let him finish. Let him finish,
Yeah,
Ty.
go,
Let him
go,
finish,
go.
Ty.
So you test in. I'm not a test taker, so I have to go. So I have to go to this public school that doesn't have the same type of technology, that doesn't have the same dedicated teachers, that doesn't have the same opportunities as this other school. So I'm left behind in this regular.
To break on your point, if you're smart and you don't go to a charter school, you're still going to stand out in any school.
Not necessarily.
What are you talking about?
Look at Bill Gates, for example, right? He dropped out of school, if I'm not mistaken.
That's okay. That's an exception, though.
Listen,
I mean,
do you
how
know what
can
a
it
charter
be
school is? A
exception?
charter school.
You have
this
to
is what a
test
charter,
into.
No, you
I
don't.
know.
A charter school is placing you into the field that you're trying to go for future references. If you're a plumber and you're going to a charter school, they're going to have all classes geared towards being a plumber.
It's like
that you
trade
need
school.
to take. If you're an electrician, they're going to put you in the classes that you need to take to be an electrician. That's charter school. That's not tested into anything.
So we're talking.
So if you're smart and you don't know what you want to be when you grow up, and they give you an aptitude test or something, then they'll gear everything towards what you like and be like, these are the jobs that you can go for.
And I'm not a fan of that either.
Reese,
Well, that's a charter school.
all I
mean,
can
that's
say
what
is,
it is.
you cannot base the school system from what we went through 25 years ago to what's going on now, it is
Yeah,
totally
it's
different.
totally
It
different.
is totally different.
So
These-
if it's-
a lot of the inner city kids have a lot more opportunities than we ever even thought about having. You're talking,
Take notes.
there's inner city schools that are sending 10, 15, 20 kids to Harvard. They're inner city schools.
all day long.
They're public schools.
So why are so many schools losing their accreditation?
Because they're not doing the things that have been lined out to say, hey, this is how you keep your accreditation. You need to do X, Y, Z.
Well, that and
If they're
accreditation
not-
has changed.
If they're not doing those things, then they need to lose their accreditation. So people can say, I need to pull my kid out of this school and
the
put them
students
somewhere
are-
else.
if the
Because
students are
once a school loses an accreditation, you have an opportunity then to take them somewhere else because you don't have to have an address. This school is not accredited. I want to send my kid to an accredited school. They can't tell you no. That's the part you need to understand.
I can send my kid to anywhere I want to go.
No, you
Now,
cannot.
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
If
you
I
can.
want to pay,
Yeah, you can.
it's either this is what it is. You either going to pay or you're not going to pay. I can send them wherever I want to go if I want to pay, because that's what it is. If for a better education, you're going to have to pay.
And the thing about it is like I said, you have to understand that just because somebody's got a lot of money doesn't mean they're
Better
necessarily going to get a
education,
good
They're
education.
not.
And there's people who
Better
are dirt poor who are getting full rides to universities because
Right.
they're smart.
Smart
Not
as
because of
heck.
financial aid, not because of something. They're not going to the best schools in the country. They're going to the same public schools and the same bullshit textbooks and desks that we were sitting in, and they're still getting it. So you can't just sit there and say just because they're going to a school that doesn't have the technology, it's a different playing field. It's not.
So the
still takes work.
drug drug infested neighborhood.
Yep.
So
Are still turning out graduates.
So you're right.
But
so
it's harder.
Yeah,
so
they got more
the
crap
drug
to do.
infested neighborhood. So the
Oh.
drug infested neighborhood. The school with the metal detectors. There's a fight almost every day. Somebody's cussing out the teacher. The education is bad because you can't focus because something's always going on around you, right?
And I'm telling you that these kids are still
They are
getting what they need to get.
They are,
and
but
going.
if people,
They're gonna have to.
but if-
Person
but
that
if-
make
if-
education
but if
is what you
parents-
make it.
But if parents are going to jail, but if parents,
gotta do
I mean,
collapse of
you're
the system right
you're
there.
throwing like the whole gambit into it. And I can tell you right now, if you can Google it, that there's kids that you can tap all that stuff on there, and they're still getting top-notch education
I know three.
because the $30,000 teacher gives a damn, and they're actually doing what they need to do.
I know three.
So you can't say that just because I'm making 90,000, that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do
I
the
know
best I can
three
do.
right
No.
now.
we're gonna have to agree to disagree.
But less of them at his school
Look
is
it up.
going than your
Look it up.
school is.
Dude, there was
what?
a
Less
thing
of
about
them
on
at his school
2020.
is going than your
Well,
school.
that depends. If the parents have the money, they're paying for the kids to get in. That's a
at the
different
$30,000
situation.
at $30,000 job. Ain't that many students going?
I
But at
guarantee-
his job, there's a lot more students
Yeah,
going.
but I guarantee you, from the $30,000 students, those are getting more full rides than the students that came from that. And their parents are
Absolutely.
just saying we're going to pay you to go there.
Absolutely.
I mean, more students are probably going to go to a higher education from there because their parents can afford to send the kids.
Yeah. But they're not going to get.
course.
They're not going to
I
be.
mean, that you're smart, though.
But they're not
I mean,
gonna-
that you're gonna pass
can't afford
everything.
it.
But
Yeah.
the $30,000
They-
teacher is going to tell you, look, you're gonna have to, if you want
Bust
to
your ass to
get
get
out
where
of
you
here,
need to go.
you're gonna have to bust your ass, and I'm gonna help you get there because I know that the opportunities aren't there for you, and that's what I'm trying to get you to see because that's happening. That is happening more today than it ever has ever.
What's the percentage of both of them students making
Oh,
to
you
college?
can't throw
I would
percentage?
say the percentage.
30,000?
I would say
Right
the
now,
percentage of
it's
the 30.
30,000.
I would say
30,000
that.
have to work harder, huh?
I would say that. I would say
They're
the
going
percentage.
to. They want to.
I would say the
because they know the
percentage,
odds are stacked against them.
and they know what they got to go back to.
Yeah, exactly. They trying to get up out of the situation that they're in, not stay in it. That's just my
Man,
opinion.
We gotta come back to this.
we done rode on this for like.
20 minutes.
But it was good. It was
20,
good.
30 minutes?
It was good.
But
Yeah.
I would invite you to look at some stats.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Look at
he's
some
gonna
stats.
Google it.
And the only thing is, I seen a huge story on this on 2020 about 2 months ago,
Put it in the-
and that's exactly what they were talking about. Inner city schools in Compton and all these places where they're having fights and shootouts all the time. Their college rate is steady rising.
There-
How many? academic
They want to
scholarships.
get out of it.
They're trying to get out of it.
Academic. These teachers are saying, well, we make $50,000, but we live in California. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment and we stay together. But they're dedicated to what they're doing because they know that that's what the calling is.
That's
Being
why
a
they keep
teacher is a
going on
calling, man.
strike.
It's
Yeah, that's why they keep
it's
going
like
on
being a
strike.
cop. It's a calling. You
But
don't go
it's
do that for
not
money.
based on the
I
tax
agree with that
bracket,
to a
though.
certain
Not based on
extent.
tax bracket.
You to a certain extent, Ken. I'm gonna
You're
get you.
right.
I'm gonna get you a damn T-shirt that says to a certain
Yeah,
extent.
but to a certain extent.
You gotta.
So are you saying that like right now? What about? It maybe Maurice is talking about more when he was coming through.
But you can't compare the
I'm
two.
talking about right. I'm
talking
talking
about
about
right
right now. Still,
I would invite you. I would invite you to look at some stats.
There are, like I said, to a certain extent, there are kids that make it and to a higher education, but there are a lot more that do not.
I would disagree with you that there's a lot more that don't.
There's
more than failure.
Look at
I'm not gonna say that fail.
Would you say that? Would you say the college rate is higher now or lower?
I tell you what the college rate is. The college money rate is ridiculous.
What about the?
What the hell I asked you?
I tell you
Do you think more kids are going to college or not? Yes or no?
Yeah.
I got more friends in prison than I do in college.
I ain't talking about your damn friends. I ain't talking about your friends. I said kids right now.
They're
Yes or no?
But
Yes or no?
That's not saying
that's not a
graduate.
yes or no
That's not saying
question, though.
It
graduate.
is a yes or no.
No.
Do you think more are going now than back
Break it
then?
down now. Is your daughter going to college?
Yes.
Your daughter going to
Yeah,
college? Your
both
daughter
of
going
them.
to college?
Yeah.
That's a lot in this room.
Is there are there
That's a
friends
lot.
that you know of going to
Yes.
college?
Yes.
It's a lot.
So you can't sit there and be like, oh, it's a yes or no. I don't know. You do fucking
a
know.
lot.
You know.
In your
You
front
see
yard.
it.
In your front yard. It's
You
right
see
there.
it.
Did you go to
It's a
college?
lot. Huh?
Did you go to college?
No.
I did.
Did you-
I did. I didn't
You
finish.
went.
I didn't finish.
He went. I didn't go. I didn't go.
So you can't. You
I
just
still
can't.
have
You
education,
can't
but I
put a
didn't go to
blanket
college.
statement on that. You can't put a blanket statement on
I
that, bro.
have
Look.
what do you call that? Charter school type technologies on me under
Look,
my belt.
if there are
trades.
more colleges,
where I went.
there are more colleges now than there were back then. Also,
Yeah.
But like I said,
More opportunity, like I just said.
Okay,
They had to make them because of the people that were coming up under them. There was a lot
But-
more people.
I'm gonna throw this in the atmosphere too. You don't have to go to college to be successful.
No, you don't.
There are
No, you don't.
You
Different
can do a
conversation.
charter and get a trade.
Yeah, that's a trade.
That's me.
We got it. We got
That's
to
the
cut
route
this
I
off.
took.
But that's a different conversation. That's a conversation.
That's the route
Even
I
trade
took.
schools and college. That's just,
We talked about that.
we did, didn't we?
Hey,
Yeah, we
lower
yeah.
the price on some of these colleges. Lower that cost.
So you're going through it right now. So he wants
No. I'm not even saying that.
But this is what I can tell you. This is what I can tell you that lower income families have more opportunity for funding
They have more grants.
than people who. Because I don't get shit. I ain't getting $1.
Me neither.
So
mean,
you can't just
there-
throw a blanket statement on there and
there-
say that they're just because
there-
you get money you can do it. No.
No, there are. No, we were talking high school. We weren't talking college.
Well, you were talking about the chances you have from going to that high school to go to college.
Right.
You know.
So when you say better opportunity, what you mean?
For high school?
Everybody's looking at college after.
Yeah, the next level.
But you don't. That little thing that you always tell me to put down, that little Google machine. You can learn a career on YouTube. You
Bullshit.
can learn.
Bullshit.
Yeah, but you need accreditation.
Bullshit.
Yeah, you do need
need work
accreditation,
experience,
but
referral.
you can take
can learn how to do something,
You can learn
but
how
you
to
can't learn how to be
how to
that
become.
trade.
I'm not saying you can learn how to be. You can learn
So basically, you can
the
lie on
basic
application.
steps to
Yeah,
be.
you can learn how
you
to
can
fix
learn
something.
the basic steps on electricity, right?
No.
And then,
No, not on.
No.
and then you can go and take that test.
No.
All it is one test.
No.
When I
that
did
you
the
have to
furnace
pass.
test, I can.
No. I will pay for your test. I guarantee you that you can't go on YouTube and learn what you need to learn to pass that.
I guarantee
lecture trip.
I guarantee it's a copy of that test on YouTube right now.
Try it.
You probably could.
You ain't gonna pass that test, bro.
You probably could, but when you start working the job,
You ain't gonna pass the test.
that's where your shit.
He ain't gonna pass the test.
That's where you gonna fail.
He ain't gonna pass the test. I'm telling you right now, there's working electricians that couldn't pass that test. You ain't gonna pass the test. YouTube it all you want to.
Now I can troubleshoot all day
You
long.
ain't passing that
on
test.
YouTube.
All right.
Sick, Nick.
Joe,
Thigh neck.
we gonna have to end this. Otherwise, it's gonna be a 3-hour show.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Agree to
we're already
disagree.
pushing an hour.
Agree to
Agree to
disagree.
disagree.
I'm about to mute these all day long. I'm about to mute these few. Joe,
Like and subscribe.
Joe, what are you at? Where we at, Joe?
We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Check us out on Instagram. We do some live, previews.
Yeah.
You might hear this, the rest of this bullshit going on.
Yeah, you might find some of that on there. And then YouTube, where you post first, and then Facebook after that. But give us a like. Give us a subscribe, and share this with friends and family or anyone else you think. If you
All you
found it entertaining,
$30,000
found it
teachers out there, I
engaging.
appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Love the teachers. Hands up, teachers.
Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Game of
yes,
Thrones.
watch Game of Thrones
Tomorrow.
It's gonna be great.
Going
Catch
down.
me at Blackout tonight, bro. April
Yeah, me too.
April 12th, Blackout.
10 o'clock.
Yeah, have a good one.
Reese, you full of shit.